how to take charge of your body and mind. It is very important to see the reality as it is, and we can do that when we are simply aware, not influenced by any thoughts, beliefs, philosophies, labeling things as positive and negative, and any other preconceived notions. When we perceive the life the way it is, with absolute awareness, we act to the best of our intelligence and capability. And how we can be with that awareness, we'll now see and understand. We can take charge of our body and mind only when we clearly know that there is a difference between what we are and what this body and mind is. So, in the next slides, what we are going to see is how we can create a distance between our real identity and the body and mind. This is required so that we can effectively take charge of these important tools, the body and mind, and lead them towards the right direction. On the slide, you can see here what all different identities that we have taken, starting from our name, the brand, gender, class, caste, religion, beliefs, skin color, body build, country or language, relationships, our profession, work, or job, our memory, knowledge, intellect. These are all the different identities in which we operate. And if you closely observe all of them, these are either given to us or we have acquired them. We have identified ourselves with these identities so deeply that we have forgotten that all these identities have been given to us, or we have acquired them, or we have developed them over a period of time. Remember one thing: what you have gathered can be yours, but it cannot be you. We were not aware of them at all until we were told about them or until it came into our experiences. Remember your childhood? There were no worries, no conflicts on religion, caste, color, no knowledge of country, no ego. What we had at that time was all happiness, and we were blissful by our very own nature. Then, many filters were applied on us by different people, situation, environment, etc. Well, all these identities are different roles that we will have to play to live in this world. That's how life is. We always have a choice what to pick, but for survival, we will have to pick something. And in this whole process, we will have to encounter with all sorts of roles and identities. Can we be perfect in all the roles? Well, may or may not be. But just like every movie or every actor can't get an Oscar award, similarly, we may also have some ups and downs in all these roles that we are playing in the process of life. Problem comes when we forget that we are actually playing a role and we get stuck into a particular role and make ourselves miserable due to some problems or issues in that role. It may be our job, profession, business, marriage, or any other relation where we are not up to the mark and we make ourselves miserable because of that. See, we don't have to be perfect everywhere, but when we are into a particular role, we must be fully involved, dedicated, devoted, and give our 100% to that. And that's it. Once we have done that, we must come out of that identity, because these identities are like different movies in which we have a certain role to play. We do our part and come out. Don't get stuck into any one of them, otherwise you'll not be able to play any other role effectively. For example, we'll not be able to spend a quality time with our family if we are still stuck in the office work or in hitting the sales targets, isn't it? So essentially, all these identities are related to our body or mind or both, and ultimately all our memories, emotions, attachments, and ego comes from these deeply rooted identifications within ourselves. The importance of these identities is limited to the survival of body and mind, and nothing more than that. Now, one question might spring to your mind: is this body or mind not important? Well, they are important, no doubt about that. These are the only tools to experience life. These are the most important and highly sophisticated tools that we have. But yes, these are tools. Tools that we have acquired, developed, and nurtured. The better these tools are, the better our life will be. This body and mind are given to us, or we have acquired, gathered, or developed them. And remember one thing, what you have gathered can be yours, it cannot be you. So let's understand what this body is. Well, our life started with 2 cells of DNA from our parents, which then became a meatball in our mother's womb. Then it took a shape and form of a human body based on the genetic and evolutionary memory within the cells. This all happened because our mother was feeding us, isn't it? Otherwise, this body would not exist. So essentially, this physical body is an accumulation of the food that we have eaten so far. So, we need to be very careful in setting our identity as body, because by doing that, we will set ourselves in the wrong direction. We will then just be working around our body and its survival only, nothing else. Other creatures are not capable of realizing the identity beyond their bodies, but human beings are, and that's the power of being human. Similarly, what we call as our mind is basically a heap of information, impressions, data, thoughts that we have gathered over a period of time. Just like we have gathered this body through food, we have also acquired all the data, impressions, knowledge over a period of time through many sources. These sources could be our school, teachers, family, relatives, friends, studies. Our intellect is a function of our brain, which is a part of our body, and that works when we feed our body well, otherwise it will not work. So, essentially, our mind is also something that we have gathered, and as I said, what you have gathered can be yours, it cannot be you. Now the next question is there any identity beyond body and mind? How about life? The identities that life picks could be different, but the life is same in everyone. So let's start with identifying ourselves with life first. If we say we are life, then all the conflicts related to other identities will simply be disappeared. It will kill our ego, which is the biggest problem that comes in our way to freedom. We'll not be a slave of our ego, thoughts, our emotions, which comes from the wrong identities. Then the conflicts on religion, caste, gender, color, country, profession, knowledge, etc. will all be vanished from our life if we just agree on this very simple fact that we are alive like everyone else. It is all about setting the right identity for ourselves because our intellect, memory, and emotions are directly associated with the identity that we set for ourselves. The way we identify ourselves, our memory and emotion will drive the intellect in support of that identity. It's very important to set the right identity. If we just do this right, we will be able to enjoy the real sweetness and the wonderfulness of our emotions and intellect. This is the first step to have a much bigger identity and experience a much bigger expansion of ourselves. This way, we will be able to see a clean picture of everyone around us as the same life as we are. Now the question is there any bigger identity than life? How about the dimension which is making the life itself happen, or which is the very basis of life? What is that intelligence that is making the life process happen? How do we know we are alive? Well, we know we are alive because we are conscious, isn't it? We know we have a body and mind because we are conscious. Our body is within the ambit of our awareness. We are aware of our body and the activities happening in our mind. The only reason why we experience life and aliveness is because we are conscious. We eat a piece of bread, it becomes our body and mind. Isn't it phenomenal? So the transformation of nature and the natural elements into a human being is happening inside us. It means the very source of creation is working within us. Isn't that correct? This intelligence or awareness is called consciousness. We must not consider consciousness as wakefulness. Wakefulness is a state of body, mind, and the bioenergies within us, and that is not consciousness. Consciousness is also not alertness or mindfulness. Alertness and mindfulness is of the mind, and consciousness is beyond the body and mind. Consciousness is not of the mind, but if consciousness is on, it clears the mind. It finds its expression through the mind and body, and through every cell of the living being. Is it possible to actually experience this dimension? Well, yes, it is very much possible, and all the yogic practices are directed towards accessing this dimension only. The yogis or the yogic practitioners, they are the hard nuts to crack. They don't agree with anything until and unless they actually experience it by themselves. So, they have developed some methods to actually experience this dimension. And that's a very different subject matter altogether, so we'll not go into that. Now, the question is, can we do something in our daily life? Yes, we can. Let's start with three key steps. First step is we need to start identifying ourselves with a bigger identity so that it gives us a sense of expansion. Let's start with life. Start living with the feeling of oneness that you are the same life as every other life is. Be it a life of plant or an animal or other human beings. Life is life. The bodies can be different, but life is same in all. When you do this, that will naturally make your life full of love and compassion. Do this at least internally, because externally we have to deal with many other things in a practical way. Second step is become aware. Become a witness of all your experiences. For example, when you are angry, become a witness of your anger. We poison our own system when we go through the anger. So, when you are angry next time, become the witness of your anger. See what it is doing inside you. And do the same with other emotions like love, peace, joy, worry. Just witness your emotions and see what they are doing inside you. Become a witness of your thoughts. See what memory they are using from your mind. Are these thoughts useful? If yes, keep them. If no, just ignore. Become the witness of whatever you are mindful of, because all these mental activities are happening in the ambit of your awareness or consciousness. So become aware and give all these thoughts and emotions a right direction so that they can work for you, not against you. The third step is do this every day. Once you find oneness with life and become absolutely aware of everything happening in life, your journey towards the highest dimension of expansion will start. We all have a great power, that is, a power to make a choice. So make a choice to lead your life with consciousness, with full awareness. This dimension is available to you, and this is available to only human beings, and that's absolutely free. So don't miss this opportunity in your life. If we don't do what we cannot do, that's okay. But if we don't do that we can do, that's the tragedy. So make a choice that you don't regret later. Make a choice to live your life and make it a joyful experience. Life throws all sorts of challenges at us. It's upon us whether we make out of it or break out of it. External situations are never under our control, but how we deal inside, that's 100% our choice. So make a right choice to live with consciousness, not compulsiveness.